Hey guys, so EA has finally been kind enough to give us some more information on Season 1 and the Battle Pass and just a little bit of insight on the content and changes that will be coming with that update, and they did that through the grind. Alright, so this is the Grind Volume 6. This is outside of those boardroom episodes that they were doing on YouTube. This is really the only communication that the public has had about the development of Skate in the last couple of years. And like they say right here, if you've never read them, the Grind is where we share important information about upcoming updates and additions and answer your direct questions we gather off of our official Discord. Yeah, in August, we got busy sharing the overview of San Amsterdam and allowing sharing of gameplay capture post August 29th from our playtest to get ready to open the doors for early access. Now, this is the first little interesting tidbit right here, is that they plan to shift the grind to the weekly grind. This weekly community post will celebrate the community content, talk about what's happening in the city of San Amsterdam, highlight players in the community, and more. Now, I think that this is interesting, and I think that it's somewhat cool that they want to do this. You know, it's cool that they want to have it be a weekly thing, a weekly installment. It's cool that they're trying to engage and interact with the community more, but I don't think that this is the right way to go about it. I feel like this would be a better thing to have be like an in-game feature, rather than converting this series of, articles into some sort of a community celebration thing. I think if they want to have community events and, show off community stuff, that should be done in game, This just seems a little weird to me to convert this thing, which was always about development progress and updates, and I don't know, it just seems weird to convert that. Alright, so the first really big thing that they address in this article here is something that they said in the Grind Volume 5, which is that everything from core features to visuals will continue evolving throughout early access and beyond. Will the visuals change over time? Absolutely. You'll see the characters and world evolve to include even more detail and personality through our future updates. So when Season 1 launches on October 7th, you'll immediately notice a whole new look. The lighting in the world has been adjusted to be a bit less high contrast and more grounded and lived in. It's like San Van at golden hour. This is only step one of what will be an ongoing development of the game's visuals. We want to give you a sneak peek today. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys a sneak peek right here if you haven't seen it. I'm very excited about this, very happy about this. So as you can see here, I mean, it's pretty much like what they said. It's like golden hour, everything has a little bit of a golden hint to it. There's a lot more warmth. It definitely reminds me a lot of like Skate 2's colors, how there was always that like little bit of warmth, a little bit of like orange gold to the colors in that game, and especially to the lighting. And I think that this definitely looks, a lot better than this. Like, this current lighting that we have in the game is almost sterile, I want to say. Yeah, it really just sucks the life out of the city, and it just makes everything feel not so good. So I'm really happy that they are changing it to this new look. And I think that this is really funny that they say that they adjusted the lighting to be more grounded and lived in. So it's like they kind of know, how lifeless this lighting looks. And they acknowledge that this looks better. So, and I also like this part right here, that this is step one of an ongoing development of the game's visuals. I don't want to read too deep into that and give myself too much hope, because that doesn't feel like that's a good thing to do for myself. But step one of an ongoing development, that sounds like they know that they need to change the visuals. I mean, I feel like that's really the number one complaint that everyone has about the game is the visuals. People really don't like the art style, myself included. I really don't like the art style. So it seems like they realize that something needs to be done about it to please the community. And yeah, I hope that they continue taking steps. This is a really good first step to take. All right, so now we get to the Battle Pass section of the article, which is obviously what we're all really looking for here, and probably why all of you clicked on this video. So they give a little bit of background information on this. I'm not going to read everything here, but just to kind of skim over it, So they say some of the most important stuff is that the rewards are split into free and premium tracks. Everyone has to earn Skate Pass levels to unlock rewards, but free rewards are accessible without owning the premium pass. Each page of the Skate Pass requires you to earn a total amount of the Skate Pass currency, aka ticks, to unlock. You can then exchange that currency for the items you want. So this, I mean, they're pretty much exactly taking the current system from Fortnite and just converting it into this game where just, you get X amount of XP, X amount of levels, and then you have just a pool of items that you can choose from, and you just redeem whichever one you want whenever you have it unlocked. Now, the next paragraph here, they say that Season 1 is shorter than regular seasons, so there's 80 rewards split between both the free and premium sections. They include some of the stuff that they're going to have, like they're going to have a white backwards cap, lucky strip cargo pants, some new decks, wheels, and then obviously they're going to have the shit that nobody really cares about, like the badges and emotes. And then this is interesting. Season 1 is a little shorter. Regular seasons going forward will have about 100 items to unlock. So this one's shorter than regular, which I guess is fair. And I don't know if they just mean like it's shorter as in there's less pages in it, or if they mean that it's shorter like the season is going to last less than normal seasons will. I'm not sure what exactly they mean by that yet. And then this one right here, with the premium track, you can earn SVB and use some of that SVB to buy the next season's premium pass. So they show this picture right here, which I have pulled up on another tab. And you see on page 1 that you have 25 SVB that you can earn on page 1. I don't know how many pages there's going to be, but I imagine that the pass is going to be at least 1,000. So I mean, if it's only 25 per page, I mean, I just don't see the amount of SVB in here being enough to actually earn the next pass with the bucks that you get from this one. You know what I mean? Like how in Fortnite you're able to do that. If you buy the battle pass, you can earn enough V-Bucks from the battle pass to buy the next one. You won't have to spend any more of your real money. And I don't think that that's going to be the case for Skate, which is a little disappointing. Some other things to talk about. I don't really care about a lot of this stuff. You got 2 generic decks, stickers, whatever. But to talk about the clothes, so there's these new shorts, which just looks like a whole new style of shorts. This new jacket, which you can see on the skater here. I don't really like it very much. It's not really my style, but that's okay. And then obviously this blue icon here is for the ticks. This is that new battle pass currency specific to the battle pass. Not sure exactly how you'll earn that, but and then another interesting thing about this picture is up here in the top right, you'll see there's a new icon that there's 0 of. So there's going to be eventually a 4th type of currency added to the game. Pretty interesting that there will be a 4th type of currency eventually. Seems like it must still be really early in development though, because this tester account doesn't even have any available. That's really all there is to touch on this picture. And then obviously this looks, a very similar setup to just every battle pass ever. It's what you come to expect at this point. And I think one thing I may have forgotten to mention earlier on, don't worry, you won't miss out if you can't complete the Season 1 pass before Season 2 drops in December. As long as you obtain a seasonal Skate Pass before that season ends, you can continue working on Season 1 through Season 2, Season 2 through Season 3, etc. I don't really know of any other game with the Battle Pass format doing this before. This doesn't, I mean, I know Fortnite definitely doesn't do this, and I like it, but I also don't like it. I'm assuming that this would only apply to people who own the premium battle pass. I assume that it would only apply to that, because as long as you obtain a seasonal Skate Pass, I don't know that you can obtain the free one. So I'm assuming that it only applies to people who have premium, which I guess is fair. They paid money for it. That's fair that they get to have access to it. The other thing that is just kind of weird about it is, part of like what's cool about battle passes is over time, you can say that you were the person who got this, final tier item. It's like the Omega lights. I would say the Omega lights are like the most common version of this, or now this isn't going to be a thing on Skate 4. Not that it matters, I I mean, it's just going to be clothes at the end of the day. But next up, this section, they are talking about, just what is expected in the seasons. And a lot of this they've already mentioned on the roadmap, but we'll go ahead and touch on the interesting stuff. So, every season there's going to be new skatable areas, new challenges and tasks, thank God. New seasonal events like these Skate-Ween and 7-Ply Maple Harvest, which I'm excited about. New brand partners, and they name drop 3 of them right here, like Santa Cruz Independent Creature. More cosmetics, which obviously that's the main point of the season, I would say. And then new songs, bug fixes, blah, blah, blah. With each season, we'll add more to the city, like adding spooky decor around San Van for Skate-Ween and in-game events. So it sounds like they have a little bit of a plan to kind of keep the season from getting stagnant with these, seasonal events, adding decor around the city. But I want to touch on this a little bit later in one of the answers for the Q&A, because the way that they answered the question sort of makes me a little worried. All right, and then we get to the Q&A part here. I'm not going to go over every single one of the questions here because a lot of them just aren't that interesting, but I will touch on some of the more important ones. So, what brands are in the game and coming soon? Currently, there's Girl Skateboards, Chocolate Skateboards, Thrasher, Royal Trucks, Vans, Dickies, and Dime. And then in Season 1, they're adding Santa Cruz, Creature, and Independent, just to name a few. So that to me sounds like there will be more than just those 3, which I'm very grateful for. And I'm hoping that, obviously they say, every season they'll be adding more brands, more cosmetics, which is a great thing, because right now, I've made this comment already, but everything is just so like great value, Amazon basics. It's so generic, and it really, really, really just feels like so dystopian sometimes. I'm sure that I'm thinking a lot deeper into it than a lot of people would, but yeah, I really don't like that about the game right now. So, what legacy modes are coming to Skate? They plan on continuing adding more to San Van, including looking at how we can bring legacy modes to the city. I don't like this answer. I don't know what they mean by looking at how they can bring legacy game modes to the city. You just add them. I think that everyone would be happier if they could get on the game and do a death race with their friends. Everyone would be happier if they could get on the game and do a game of Skate with their friends. I'm not saying that you can't do a game of Skate right now. Obviously, I know you can just sit on a stair set and do tricks down it. That's not the same, that it just isn't the same thing. I don't want to touch a lot on this question here because they've already kind of talked about it in the roadmap, but I will just touch on it a little bit. So we don't get any new tricks until Season 2. We'll be getting Impossibles and expanded hand plants. And then dark catches and improved foot plants are coming in Season 3. I really don't know why expanded hand plants are coming before dark catches and foot plants. I don't know who in the game does hand plants. I really have no idea who that's for, but they're adding more tricks. They're going to keep expanding that aspect of the game every single season, I think, which is great. The more that this game does than Skate 3, the better. That was kind of like the thing with, Skate 1 to Skate 2 to Skate 3 was just they added a little bit more that you could do trick-wise. And, obviously they're going to have to keep that up here because the bar is just set so much higher now. Now this one right here, they basically already said this exact answer before, but seasons will have a major update. What will the cadence be of other updates? So each season they'll have a seasonal update that addresses quality of life issues, adds new features, skateable areas, challenges, and more. Between those updates, we will push back-end fixes and hot fixes as needed to address bugs, crashes, and stability. So this is what confuses me, because this says between seasonal updates, they will push back-end fixes, hot fixes. So they only mention that. But then up here, they say that with each season, we'll add more to the city, like spooky decor around San Van, in-game events, seasonal events like the Skate-Ween and 7-Ply Maple Harvest. They're going to be separate updates throughout the season. Some are going to be categorized as seasonal updates, and some are just going to be, a quick little hotfix patch. I don't know. That just kind of confuses me a little bit. Skate's still coming to mobile. Cool. Who cares? And then the last thing last question that they answer here, which I'm very disappointed with. Any teasers or info about what's coming to Brickswich and when? Starting with Season 2, we'll have some teasers for you regarding Brickswich. I'm not very happy about this. Season 2 doesn't start until December, and they don't say that Brickswich will be released in Season 2. They say that they'll have teasers about Brickswich in Season 2. I don't really know what that means exactly. It's very vague. I don't know if we're going to start getting content. I don't know if we'll be able to unlock some fast travels. That's the only, like, I don't really care about the challenges and missions there, whatever. You know, I can do without it. I just want to be able to fast travel there because I like skating there, you know. So that's pretty disappointing that just it takes that long for us to unlock that much more content, you know. But it is what it is. I think that the way that they're going to pace out content in this game is going to be deliberately very slow, because they said that they want to support this game for the next 10 years, and I think that that's going to be their way of doing that, as I think it's going to be very deliberately slow and kind of dragged out. That's all we know about the Battle Pass currently. Like I said, October 7th, it'll be launching, so a little less than 2 weeks now until the launch, until we finally get some more new content. And I'm excited, but I'm not, you know, overly thrilled. I think, you know, it'll be okay. I don't think it's going to be anything amazing, but yeah.